Boom shakalaka. Good morning.
Happy Friday. Hello, everyone.
Hey, everybody out there. How y'all doing? Staying good? Staying well?
Are you talking to me or to the audience?
Oh, yeah. Oh, Dima, there you are. Yeah, I mean, for a minute there, I was lost in my own little world there. Someone just got a message.
Yeah, I keep blocking this message on my computer. I keep closing it and it keeps showing up. I don't know what to do. Yesterday, I was giving a presentation and I put all of this off and a phone came on my computer. So not fun, but that's a whole different show. We can talk about that. But for today, we have one of my favorite people in Baton Rouge. Let's have Jeremy come and join us.
And the galaxy, I think. Favorite person in the galaxy.
Okay.
I can't live up to that introduction. I knew you were going to do that to me.
It says all true, Jeremy.
How are you doing this morning, brother?
I'm doing fantastic. I had a good early morning with my almost 2-year-old daughter, and we saw a lot of squirrels. We played with the dog. We ate some breakfast. So I'm feeling good. Had a good rally with the team, and I'm super excited to be here. Very honored. Thank you for having me. And also, it's just great to see y'all and catch up.
It's good to see you.
Yeah.
I like the background with all the caps and the bicycle.
Thanks. This is, I guess it's like a man cave, for lack of a better term, but this is just basically it's all of my crap. Because now we have 2 kids, so everything has to go into one spot.
Yeah.
And so this is what happens when you have bikes and drums and things you don't want to get rid of. You
That's
just hang them on the wall.
You make it look good, though. I don't know how you managed to do that.
It's my brand.
It's your personal brand.
It's not a real bike. It's just, it's just for show.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you.
So there's so many things to congratulate you on. Congratulations on the new baby. He is so adorable. Oh my goodness.
Thank you. He's awesome. Yeah.
So tell us how's it going?
It's going, all things considered, it's going really well. And we're constantly like, knock on wood, just grateful because he's in a little rhythm. He sleeps well. He's very chill. And his sister, our 21-month-old, is she's really taken to him well. Like she likes him. She gets up in the morning and wants to go give him a kiss, all that kind of stuff, which I thought it might be the opposite because before he came along, she did not do well with the dog. She liked to take everything from him. And the poor dog, he has nothing. She's done really well and it's been really good. I have to give my wife, Lana, a shout out because she's really holding it down and doing the hard work. And it's been awesome. Yeah. And working from home has been in a lot of ways fun. It's challenging, but it's also fun. And I'll cherish these days. I know I'll look back and cherish these days with the family and getting to hang with my daughter and all that. It's been overall like a blessing in a weird way,
Yeah.
The best kind of way, too.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
The kind you couldn't script for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's something, and I think this goes for a lot of people. You would never give yourself this, you would never take the leap into giving yourself this much time to spend with your family because everyone was just going. And now you're forced to slow down or maybe just recalibrate. And I personally have enjoyed it, and it's just been awesome.
That is so great. I saw a picture of your wife with the 2 babies. It's so beautiful. Your daughter is growing up. Wow, she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Months, yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, she's our little porcelain doll. She's got the red hair and the pale skin. And we gave the boy the Irish name because my grandma's from Ireland, and he's got dark skin, which is weird because my wife and I are both like super not built for the sun at all. We're built for overcast skies, and he's got dark skin, and we gave him the Irish name, of course. And I knew that's how it was gonna go. So we'll see what he turns into. He's only 4 weeks old at this point, so
wow,
we still got time.
I love that you said we wouldn't give ourselves this time, because it's true. I think we barely give ourselves a few moments of breath.
Right.
Mindfulness this, much less. I mean, we have to get coached through that. That's not even part of our being. It all happens so unconscious. And the fact that we, got this forced upon us is kind of a blessing. It isn't kind of, it is a blessing, I think.
Right.
My book. Yeah. And you're right. We would not have taken this for ourselves or our businesses. And, we don't want the bad things or even the good things that come in this. We don't want that.
Right.
No one wants to have a windfall because of something bad that's happening. You don't want to, take advantage of a situation or anything, but we would never do this for ourselves. And I think that's an important thing to keep in mind because, we struggle with taking the PTO that we do have or are given.
I know.
Or taking that weekend getaway, man. This is insane. Dima, where are you at on this?
I'm usually the coach who's teaching people to do
always look for your wisdom.
Myself, so.
Help us through this, Dima.
I remember many of our conversation, Rob, about this for over a year ago.
All right, see you later. Bye.
I totally agree. Like even in my situation, I can't remember last time I spent time with my family for Easter, for my nephew's birthday, for Mother's Day. Like it's never like this. I'm always so far away sending the flowers on 1-800-Flowers. But now it's such a blessing to be around everybody. And even though there's a lot of fear, but it's nice. So I agree with both of you.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember, so this is like a little confession. Dima forced herself to be my life coach at one point because I was struggling. It's like participating in running a business and trying to create a family and all. How it's just a lot. And I was in the weeds. I was burnt out and I couldn't get on top of my life, my schedule. It was like washing over me every day.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure a lot of people feel that feeling. And Dima's like, you're coming to my office and I'm going to help you. And I was like, but I don't want to pay you. And she was like,
remember that
part. And she was like, no, just get over here. And she just helped me as a friend. And I remember you say your advice to me was like, you have to start saying no to things. And it was really hard for me. And I started to implement that a little bit. And this was like a big moment this was a forced no to a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it's like my grandpa told me this, like he's always told me this. He said the work will always be there, and that's like a principle of like no matter how hard you work or how little you work, yes, the work will always be there. So pace yourself. And this is teaching me to pace myself. And it's also teaching me that the things that I thought were like hair on fire have to get done today don't. Yes. And if they don't, guess what? Everyone's going to be fine. We're all going to be okay.
I remember both of you were separate occasions being in the conference room in my office, and we're putting all the list of things you're working on. And I'm like, oh my God, no wonder you're overwhelmed. You're talking, you want to have work-life balance. You want me to help you with that? Like you need bigger.
I can't help myself. I cannot help myself. It's a compulsion.
Funny? It's funny, Jeremy. We were the ones stressing Dima out.
I know.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
I know. And then she's trying to make me cry in there, and everything. I was like, oh,
are you serious?
Here we go. I knew this was
Remember?
I'm crying right now.
When we're talking about women and men, when I'm coaching men, they're just like holding, like I can see the tears in their eyes. And women, they're like, I need my 10th tissue. So man, I'm like, it's okay, just cry.
Let it out.
The worst ugly cries. Before I even knew what ugly cries were as a kid, I just remember, and like when I do the, I get where I can. I'm letting out so much that inhale to
right.
It's ridiculous. It sounds like a broken instrument, and the face is just.
I can relate.
It's pterodactyl stuff. It's weird.
Yeah, well, it just comes out, and you're like, "Oh, I'm having a seizure." I can't stop this. This is happening to me.
Yeah,
it feels kind of good.
It feels good after. It feels good after. I learned this trick from our friend Orhan. He was on the show.
Oh yeah,
and he
love
was showing
Orhan.
me this like.
Oh, the tapping. He thought
Oh my goodness! Are you kidding me?
it is so good. It is so good.
It is insane.
What is this?
That's called
like,
emotional.
what are we doing?
It
Are
is
you
actually a
serious?
healing technique, and it's called emotional freedom technique. And there's certain acupuncture points. If you tap on them, they help you release a lot of these emotions and anxieties and all of this. So, yeah, EFT. Google it.
EFT. We did that for 5 rounds, right? I did all this stuff
Wow.
times, and he asked me before. He's like, "Where are you right now? Where are you?" This was during our mindfulness living and our mindfulness living program, and I was like, "Man, I'm probably like an 8." I'm like, "I'm a good 8." Anxiety's up here about what I'm dealing with, and we did that 5 rounds. He's like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "Whew, that was weird. I'm at like 5.5. I'm like a good 5.5. That was really good. I dropped like 3 points, y'all."
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like things like that are it's like physical, it's physiological, but it's also mindfulness. It brings you to yourself a little bit, and there's a lot of value in that. Whenever you're kind of lost in the chaos and you feel like things are happening to you, it kind of brings you back to yourself, and just that taking a minute to just stop is like crazy helpful, and not something I'm really good at all.
We're not laughing at you. We're laughing at the.
Hold on. Oh, wait. Let me see the comments.
Everyone at home is tapping their bodies now.
Everyone's at home and like their family are like, "What are you doing?" Like dad has lost it.
Oh my goodness, I'm tearing up.
This is already the most engagement we've had. It's a good mixture, man. We got a great flow today. And not to bring it on back, but we did have a purpose for this show, but this dives right into it too, is because you talked about this mindfulness.
Yeah.
And we were talking about connecting and then family, and all of that is connected right now at home, at work, when you're doing homeschooling. So we're there. We're all there and in it.
Right.
So how is 368 focusing on their people and getting engagement still, keeping everybody with the morale like you guys are known for? How are y'all doing?
Yeah. So I've got a lot to say about that. I've got a long list of bullets that I wrote down. I'll start here. So what this reminds me of is the 2016 flood a little bit, where in 2016, Lana and I's house flooded. And I'm the kind of person, I like adventure and I like the unknown. It's like, for me, that's comfortable. So when it happened, I was like, cool. Like, this is all going to be crazy and like everything's up in the air and it's kind of exciting in a way. And it felt, for me, I thought I was having fun. And if you asked me how I was doing, I was like, oh, it's great, whatever. And what I didn't realize is inside, it was taking a toll, like a huge toll on me, right? And I wasn't processing that. I wasn't aware of it. And I had a family member who had flooded in Katrina in New Orleans. And she said, this is going to be a mile marker in your life. And she's like, you need to take the time to process this. And I kind of shrugged it off. And what ends up happening is it hits you like a freight train in the middle of the night and you start doing the ugly cry. So through that experience, I kind of learned like these types of events take a bigger toll on us than we may even realize at the time. You may look back and say, wow, that was crazy, or it might all come crashing down on you. So with that in mind, one of the things we've been doing just as a principle is what I've called like deep empathy. And this is just like a mindset for leadership. If you're part of a team, is normally, like, we always preach empathy and caring about one another and caring personally. But at a time like this, it's about really stopping, coming to yourself as a leader and putting yourself in the shoes of somebody else. And that takes work. I always thought I was an empath, oh yeah, I'm like, I just feel things or whatever. And but still, we're moving into review season with our company, and I'm writing reviews for our staff. And I'm going through and I'm like, okay, she can improve this, he can improve that. And then I stop and I say, hold on. She has 3 kids at home. Her husband is still working and she can't get help because nobody can come into her house. So if I was her, could I live up to this expectation? Is it fair for me? And as a leader, I think it's important. It's almost a moral obligation for us to walk in the shoes of our team and meet them where they are. And sometimes it's better to build than to critique somebody. You know, there's time for constructive criticism and there's time for building. And I think right now it's more of a building time. People need to be built. And so that's been a mind shift for me because I can be a really hard critic, especially on our team and especially on myself. And so I typically go into reviews pretty hot. And so I've had to kind of shift my mind and say, this is a building season. And there's time for improvement and we can grow and improve, but let's encourage one another and let's make sure we're celebrating one another. So that's just a mind shift for us and something that we have to be super intentional about, you know, and what I've done is like, I have a whiteboard above my computer right here. And I just write down the names of people who live alone that are on our team because they're alone. They're alone a lot right now. And I know I don't like to be alone with myself. I don't know about y'all, but it gets weird. And then and then I write down the names of people who have children, you know, and then there's all these different dynamics, you know, and so all of those people are in their own space right now, and they're under forces that they might not even be aware of. So just checking in on them and saying like the people who live alone, like, hey, do you want to just hop on like a call and just talk through some things or just like vent or whatever? Or if it's somebody with kids, it's like, hey, do you want us to send you like some waiter or something? You know, like what do you need? Like, you know, like what's going on? Or do you just need a day off? But just being super mindful of that is really important. And I've really been trying to work on that. And so that's maybe philosophical, but that's kind of the mind space I've been trying to get into is right now it's a time for caring and a time for building and just getting through this, not to over dramatize it, but, you know, I think there's more in play than people are aware of. So that's the lesson I took from 2016 and I'm trying to carry forward is to do it better this time around. Now I can keep going. Should I just keep
going?
Okay. Okay.
Catch up with the comments really quick though.
Oh yeah, look.
Someone's tap dancing at me. Tap, tap, tap. And then I'm not sure what that emoji is.
Too many loves. It's
somebody's feeling the empathy.
There's a lot of love there. And
I love it. I'll take it.
We know you're crushing it. Let's just say it again. Crushing it.
Crushing it.
We're supposed to do it that way. That was weird. I'm getting weird. And then empathy, the key to freeing yourself and others.
It's so true.
Definitely tapping into something outside of yourself.
Yeah.
Most cases, right?
Yeah. And you know, like not to get preachy, but I think our society has lacked empathy, and this is there's been a little bit of a surge of empathy through this, where we all have to operate in the same space digitally, which is kind of cool. It puts everyone on level ground. I'll have a conference call with like some CEO of a large company, and his children come barging in, you know, and I'm like, ha, you're not better than me. We're the same. And that's a crazy paradigm shift, right? They can't sit across from you in a boardroom. They've lost that power, and it's really refreshing in a lot of ways. And I think on the other end, they're enjoying it too, because it also tears down those social structures that have maybe prevented them from getting real talk from their staff.
Most definitely.
You know, and things like that. And so it's really something to celebrate, I think. And it's hopefully a permanent paradigm shift in how we think of workplaces. And I'm a big fan of, typical millennial mindset of like teamwork, flat org structures, cross collaboration. We say at our company, everyone's a creative. You know, it's like a great idea can come from anywhere. So don't dismiss the project manager because they have a different title behind their name, because it's just a title.
Status can be kind of weird.
Right.
I did this little retreat, virtual retreat last week, and that was part of it. And we had to rank ourselves with this locus of control, right? Like, do you feel like you're totally in control? You control your fate, or is it just already made up for you? Are the outside forces did they have all that influence over you and you just got to put your hands up? So it's like trying to gauge where you're at and those different pieces of it. Status was one of them. And it was interesting with our little group that took this and we shared results, was that even the people who don't think themselves of status being important, or that's not a big part of their locus of control, it still is. And Jeremy, you and I, and even Dima, when we walk into a place or with our groups that we currently are with or working with, collaborating with, I mean, there is a status there. There's a status there. And that's part of like your empathy, right? You're bringing it down and you're elevating others, which is so powerful right now. It goes back to your building up concept.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And it's a weird thing to be aware of. And it's a weird thing to admit, is that there are these status structures and there all of these like just kind of prerequisites or preconceived dynamics that come with you. And being aware of those is really important. And I like that in this situation, it's really kind of torn that down. That's been fun for me to watch, and I like it. And so kind of to go back toward what are we doing at 368? I'll just share what we're doing. Like everyone else, we're learning as we go, and we're just doing our best. We're trying to do our best, but Kenny's really been pushing this, and it's really good. He said, shout out to Kenny, one of my business partners at 368, our CEO. He says, purpose doesn't mean anything until it costs you money. Yeah. And this is like prime time for that. So it's like, what does that mean for us? Our purpose is, we have, as a marketing agency, we say our purpose is to challenge the common thinking and to create uncommon futures. So it's like a very aspirational purpose, but within that, we have these core tenets of family dinner is one of our core tenets. And it's like we eat together and we're radically candid with one another at dinner, and we're irreverent and we're real and we're messy and we clean up together. And so like this tenet of family dinner, when you talk about it costing you money, that might mean in a practical sense, us sending Uber Eats credits to everybody in the company and clients to come to family dinner and do a digital family dinner where everybody eats together. But it also may mean having the hard conversation with somebody that you need to have, or telling somebody like, hey, you need to sit this one out and go take care of your family. And those types of things, they cost money. It's when you give someone a day or even a week off. We gave one staff member a week to just calibrate. They were struggling along with this whole situation, so just take a week. And that's where things cost you money, or even saying no to certain work that might be coming in at this time. That is, it's like we talked about this earlier, Rob. The work looks different, and sometimes for us, we're getting a lot of like really short deadline type stuff. People want to roll out, and at some point we have to say no to those things to preserve the mental and emotional well-being of our own team. And so that's where purpose really starts to cost you money in a very practical sense. And that's for us, just a nice like rally cry to remind us that it's okay. And that's what's going to get us to the other side of this and keep our team intact. And we're not going to come through tattered and, a shell of what we were at the beginning. We're going to come through stronger. And that's for leaders, going back to what I talked about with the flood, is like, I use the airplane mask analogy, where it's like, make sure you're taking care of yourself. And if you're going to help others, you have to help yourself. And when you're on an airplane, they say, when the mask drops, throw yours on first so you can help everyone around you. Because if you start to help someone else, you're going to pass out and then you're useless. So it's the same situation here. And one of the things we did is we have our senior strategist, Tara Lorette. She moved to Colorado Springs over a year ago and has been working remotely and really championing the remote work culture of 368. And it's been a big learning curve, because of all companies, you would think we'd be good at it because we're a digital agency and, it's easy. It's not easy. Because another one of our tenets as a company is face-to-face. We're very much like South Louisiana, family oriented. We like to be in the room together and feel the energy. So we've been kind of building this remote culture with her. And when this happened and we all went remote, we saw all of our blind spots instantly. And we were like, wow, poor Tara, I can't believe we didn't see all these things. And so what we did is we got her to lead a lunch and learn with our team about best practices. Here's how to do remote right. And one of her big messages was boundaries. And I think that's another important thing is like, it's really easy to blur the boundaries right now between work and family and recreation and personal and everything. It's all in one place. And so it's like, if you're going to stop working at 5, stop working at 5, and close your computer and focus on your family. And that's like, that's a hard one. It really is a hard one because it's so easy to just blast through. And so she really pushed on the boundaries issue, and I think it resonated because what happened is the late night emails slowed down, and we even started. We implemented a soft rule, which is like, don't send emails after 5:30. Just wait till the morning. Even if you have to send it and delay it on your Gmail, which you can just delay when an email goes out, just delay it until the next morning so that we create a space for people to unload.
Emails, Jeremy, or is it, text messages, Slack, could it be that thing that you posted in Basecamp and then it updates,
right.
Because if it's one, it kind of has to be almost all.
Yes.
Because it just still finds a way to penetrate from every angle. And it's
yeah. Exactly. No, you're exactly right. And it's all of the above. And that is, I'm not saying we're perfect. We're definitely not, but we're moving in that direction. And I've seen a huge shift where things get nice and quiet after 5:30 or 6. And it makes me happy, even though there's a part of my business brain that says we're not as productive as we could be. We are though. That's the thing, burnout and working through the night. It's so short-sighted. It doesn't yield like long-term benefit. It really doesn't. I mean, it's proven by science, but you can also just anecdotally see it in yourself and in others. So that whole boundaries thing and remote best practices. Another one that's very practical that businesses should think about is a remote culture is the way that we've set up our company going into the future is if there are more than 2 people on any meeting, it needs to be fully remote capable, which means everyone needs to dial in to the meeting, even if they're in the same room, dial into the meeting, because there might be someone who's not in the meeting. And what happens is if Dima and I are together in the room and you're somewhere else and Dima and I we're just going to sit across the table from one another and we'll be on one computer, we'll end up making eye contact, or I'll talk to her about something, or I'll show her something that you can't see. And you miss a lot of those kind of nuances of the conversation and you feel left out, but it's also not as productive. So what we've done is just said it needs to be fully remote compatible if there's more than 2 people in a meeting. And that's like a game changer for us because poor Tara, and we have a few other remote workers as well. Sahil and Maxwell, shout out. And I can only imagine the disconnects they must feel when they're in a meeting, they see us looking across, talking, and then the next day a brief comes out and they're like, what are you talking about? And oh yeah, you must have missed that because we were just talking about it in the room. So that being mindful of that going forward, if you have remote workers who may stay remote, just being mindful of how you run a remote culture it's been a huge learning curve for us and eye-opening in a lot of good ways. And I'm excited about the future because I do think there's a lot of upside to a distributed model, and there's a lot of upside to sometimes everyone not being in the office and being able to just focus, and just be productive in their own space. So there's a balance there that I hope we can work toward some sort of new model after this. We're discussing it right now, but it's like, what does that look like? How do we get the best of the office and the best of the work from home?
Yes.
That is so amazing. Wow. This is wonderful. And I know, Jeremy, when we spoke the other day, you said you're doing a lot of team building activities, which you mentioned one of them, which is the dinner with the clients. Tell us about some other activities you're doing, especially the ones that you're engaging the clients in.
Yes. Okay. So let's see. So with clients specifically, in addition to, we've done some webinars like this just on like principles and how to run your brand and your marketing. Besides those types of things, which are a little business oriented, we did recently a fun one. It was our company birthday, so we invited all of our clients to a digital hangout. And what we did that was cool is everyone came into this hangout. It was a massive group, and we played like an opening video that was just hilarious, recapping just shenanigans, from the last 4 years. And then we did breakouts. So everyone broke out into groups of like 8 or so people, and we did a trivia challenge. So each group did a trivia game and got a score. Then we came back together and saw who won, talked a lot of trash to each other. And it was super fun. And the clients got to learn about us because they were basically hanging out behind the scenes with us. The trivia was somewhat geared toward our history and like just funny things, about us, the things you might not know. And it was such a great like relationship builder, but it was also just an escape from work meetings and Zooms, and that was like a really fun one. And we got a lot of feedback from the client saying like, hey, thank you for including me. We really enjoyed it. Let's do it again. I see somebody put Kenny's team 1, which is probably Kenny, if I had to guess, or someone on Kenny's team. They just so everyone knows, they definitely cheated. So I just want everyone to know that my team definitely should have won. But yeah, so that was one. We've sent gifts to clients personally, which I think is probably something a lot of people are doing, but sending handwritten letters or sending gifts is just a good way to say, hey, we're thinking about you. The chat is just very distracting right now. Other things we've done and institutionalized right now is we have a daily gratitude thread on our Slack, which is our company chat platform. And every day, everyone posts like a little story or something they're grateful for. And that's like really important, is when you're, especially at a time like this, when there's a lot of negativity and a lot of negative news, is just having a source of positivity. We've also done what we call a daily pulse check thread, which is each person has to pick 3 emojis and post them. And you've probably seen this before, but it's really fun because we try to decipher one another's emojis. And like sometimes they're insane. And I'll admit, like, I'm one of the old guys and I'm not so good with the emojis. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know what this means. And they're like, you don't know what that means? That means my dog went outside and then we ate dinner.
Right.
Like, I didn't get that at all.
So to help me understand, so the emojis, you need to interpret them as it becomes like a sentence, a phrase.
Yeah, it's like a notion, it's like might be like a sunshine, a tree, and a dog. And they're like, oh yeah, I took my dog outside and walked, or whatever. I don't know. Or like, it might be like, sometimes it's like a frustrated face, somebody's just like, oh, I'm feeling overwhelmed. And what's really cool and has just blows my mind is you'll see somebody post something that looks a little bit like they're frustrated. And then what you see is like 12 responses right away from our team of like, hey, are you okay? What do you need? How you doing? And it's like, it's amazing. I'm just like, who are these people? They're so great. Everybody cares. And it's like so much support within our own team for one another. Another thing we've done is we brought in an HR consultant, Teresa, shout out. She has been amazing because she works with Kenny and they send out a weekly COVID update, and it's super detailed. And it's like, here's what's going on the national and state level. Here's what's going on with 368. Here's some resources. It's just everything you need to know. So there's full transparency across the board for our team. And some of this information goes toward our clients as well. other things with clients that we've done more practically is a lot of them have had trouble with billing, and some of them, their revenue streams have just stopped. So we've made the appropriate adjustments to support them, where it's like, look, if you can't pay right now, let's just defer it, or let's restructure it. Let's pause it, whatever. And let's take care of one another, because we're in it for the long haul. We've always had a partnership mindset. And so we'd be full of crap if we weren't willing to work with people right now. And fortunately, there are some resources out there like the PPP and other things like that companies can take advantage of. And so we've been trying to, as a company, work toward leveraging those resources and encouraging our clients to do the same, just on a practical level. So other things. So I'm rambling, but there's other things we do.
So amazing. Keep going, Jeremy.
So we do Monday morning kickoffs every Monday at 9. It's an all hands meeting, and they're fun. I don't know if y'all have ever read the book Death by Meeting by Patrick Lencioni.
I heard about it. Yeah.
It's a great read. It talks about how meetings are so vital to business, but most people hate them, right? And what one of the core kind of principles of the book is that, like, a boring meeting makes for a boring workplace. And if you want people to be fired up about their work, like, they have to be fired up about talking about their work and being in a meeting. And so that's like probably a very poor job of summarizing the book, but that's kind of what I got out of it. But what we do in the Monday morning meeting now, since we've gone remote, is we start with stories. So it's just like the first 15 minutes, we have like a chat, and everyone can be like, they'll raise their hand in the chat, and we're like, who has stories? And they just tell stories from the weekend, and everyone's like laughing, and it's it's silly. Sometimes it might be serious, and then we're taking care of one another. But most of the time, it's just a lot of fun, and it's such a game changer for setting the tone for the week. Because before we get to work, let's just take a moment to hang out, tell stories, talk about what we did. It's a weird time, and that little it's just like the slapping yourself in the face thing that Orhan. That thing. But it's like that same principle, like on a team level. It's like, let's just all kind of center ourselves and come down to earth here before we take off and let the week wash over us. And that kind of stuff is really valuable, especially for an ADD person like me. I'm not good with like task lists and things like that. Like, I get squirrel here, squirrel there, Yeah. And there's like, I get notifications. We were talking
about squirrels before this.
I know.
Literally.
I brought it back around. Squirrels? Not anymore. There's a lot of squirrels.
He's so smart, y'all. He's so smart.
No, yeah, that's I have a squirrel story for another time. I'll hold the squirrel story. But there were squirrels in my life when I was younger. I'm from New Iberia. There were lots of animals in my life. That was most of my friends.
They're no longer in your life, I imagine.
Yeah, most of them. They're just anyway. So those are some examples of things we've done, just like on a systematic level, and how we think as a team. And it really just all boils down to like, stop for 60 seconds, think about someone else, and put yourself in their shoes. Like, don't just say, oh yeah, they have kids, it's probably hard. Actually, like, be in their living room with them right now and think about what it is they're actually having to deal with, the forces in play. When they're late to a meeting and you're pissed off, take a minute to say, what's going on their end, and really stop. That's so important. And like, I just can't overstate how important it is to just be encouraging. And we have our creative director, Eddie Snyder, who is just like a lightning rod of positive energy. The dude is, he's one of those people, kind of like Rob. You're that way too.
Look, me and Eddie, man, we already hooked up.
Yeah.
I came from Adam, and like, I got to meet this man. Like, I got to meet this man.
He's awesome. Yeah.
Shout out Eddie.
Yeah, shout out Eddie. Hopefully he's on here. So Eddie is one of these people that taught me something. And what he taught me was he'll just send me a text message randomly. It'll be like on the weekend or at night or whatever. And he's like, "Hey bud, just want to say you're awesome. Miss your energy," something like that. And I've avoided in the past sending stuff like that sometimes because I'm like, they might think it's contrived or they might think it's crossing a boundary. And what he taught me was like, that means so much. That little bitty compliment, that little encouragement can change the trajectory of my day. And it sets me on a better course for the week. And it makes me look forward to things and it makes me feel valued. And it's like, duh, right? But so many of us just don't do it because it doesn't feel significant, but it is significant. And so even that's been a lesson for me, is like, I'll, once a week or once every other week, I'll just go down the list of everyone in our team and just send them a message. It's simple. It takes nothing, it costs nothing, but it can be really impactful to the person. Mm-hmm. So those are some of the things we're doing, and we're pointing those things in the direction of our clients as well. With clients, it's really been, it's really been a game of communication and just being proactive and communicating with them and being empathetic toward what's going on with them. And one of our clients is the Alabama Fire College, which is one of the largest training institutions for firefighters and EMTs in the country. And they hit us up and they said, "Hey, so this is something you may not know." They said they're allocating resources by state to deal with COVID, and a state like Alabama or Mississippi that doesn't have a major city doesn't get many resources because it's based on population and demand. But we need them. We still need them, and we're getting underserved. They said, so we need data to prove that we need these resources. We need to show how many we're using, da 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 da. And so they came to us and said, what can we do with tech? How can we do this? And we were able to just in like 4 days build a little app website that tracks all the firefighters' usage of PPE and all the EMTs' usage of PPE and incidents and all this type of stuff. And what it's done is it's given them a clear data stream, and they might be one of the only states that have this now, but a clear data stream of exactly how many resources they're using for first responders, which they can then take to the government and say, "Hey, look, this is evidence of what we're using and what we need." And so that's like an example of us just being like, we're so happy we have the chance to help, and we're so happy that we're in a position to make an impact on that level for people. And so that's like, to me, that's everything, and our team was, shout out to our team, like Shelby led the design on that, and we had a whole team around that project. And I think I hit them up on Friday and was like, look, I normally wouldn't do this, but this is critical. There are first responders without equipment, and we can actually help them get it. Like, what do y'all want to do? And they were like, we're on it. And within like 4 days, it was out. And They just did it. They built it, and normally that might be a 2-month project. Yeah. So that's like, I guess that's us kind of putting our money where our mouth is a little bit as a company and stepping up for clients. And to me, that's some of the most rewarding work we'll ever do, is that kind of stuff, So yeah, that's a client anecdote.
That's awesome.
Right there, yeah.
Well, earlier, go ahead, Rob.
No, you go ahead, Dima.
Okay. You talked earlier about the pipeline, and so what are you doing to build future pipeline?
Good question.
Very good question.
Yeah. So I wish Justin or Kenny were here because they would have a better answer. But
okay.
Tell me everything you're doing to get clients. You said
yeah.
You're gonna fill that up.
It's in the playbook. Okay, so here's what you have to do.
Like, even I'm realizing right now, it's a matter of continuing to build relationship with existing clients.
Yes.
But usually by now, I should have 2021 booked for speeches,
right.
And it's not affecting just now; it's affecting the next year. So it's interesting.
Yes, so we're in the same boat. We lost a ton of pipeline. We had some major live event work. A big part of our business is experiential and live event, like stadiums and conferences. So all of that, just turned off instantly. So our forecast took a turn. And what we did is, in addition to servicing our existing accounts, so just doing like going above and beyond for our existing accounts to say like, look, if there's any opportunity for us to help, the Fire College is a great example of like, look, we can do things that may get you through this or may make this better. And so that's been one strategy, is just servicing our clients. The other strategy is we actually invested in advertising on some listing services like Clutch. So Clutch is like a great listing service for agencies. And we've historically gotten a lot of good leads, like national or even international leads off of that platform. So we actually spent money on that, which is super scary to do right now, you know, but it's paid off. So by advertising on Clutch, we've gotten several leads, and our pipeline is now looking really strong, actually. So it's like you delete a huge chunk of your pipeline and then start filling it up. And I really have to shout out Justin Hutchinson, our partnership coordinator. He has just been on fire. I mean, I don't know how he does it, honestly, because I am good at if somebody comes to me with a problem and says, I need help, I can help. You know, I was like, here's what we can do. But I'm not so good at going out and finding the problem. And Justin is just so good at going out and finding the problem. So is Kenny, as you probably all know.
They listen, man. And
yeah,
y'all have amazing things to say. And the wisdom there and the guidance it's true. So
yeah. And they, I see someone said, talk about Rail. That's so that's like it's kind of an inside joke at the company, but it's really our system for how we approach new business. And it's an acronym, and the R stands for refer them to somebody they might love. So R is if you want to work with somebody, before you ask them for something, connect them to someone else. You know, everyone loves a good connection. So we call it like Friends of TSE is our concept. It's one of our core tenets, is like, we know a lot of people. We work with all sorts of brands everywhere. So we're in a unique position to connect people, you know? So it's like, let's connect. So the first thing we do is connect people. And then A is, I think it's annoy them with love. So it's all about like, just being empathetic and caring about them and asking them questions. It's really like a listening activity, you know? And then the I, Kenny, you might have to help me with the I, because it's been a while since I've done Rail. I think it's indirectly approach them, I believe is what it is, which is like, it's like, don't come in with asking for the sale.
Gotcha.
So still come in and ask them about something else. So really what it boils down to, and then L is leverage insights. So bring them a piece of knowledge or data that they didn't know before. So what it really all is designed to do is to teach you to sell by serving and not sell by selling.
Like that.
And so it's about like, look, let's get to know each other. How can I help you? How can I connect you? How can I love you? And at the end of it, if you want to work together, hopefully I've proven that I'm not just in it for the money, but there's some more value here. And Justin really is just, he naturally gets that as a kind of business development function in the company. Kenny is the greatest facilitator connector on earth. The dude is just, you know, he's just a maniac. He can connect people everywhere. He can get in the door of places where I have so many stories of him dragging me into awkward meetings that I wasn't expecting. Yeah, it's like, there's so many. And so they've really been doing that. And fortunately, you know, I think we're probably on the good end of the situation as a business, because our work can be done remotely very easily, and our products are digital, you know, mostly. So we're still able to build websites and campaigns and things like that. So overall, I'm feeling good about the future. You know, I think we always have insane ambitions as a company. It's part of, we're a challenger company. Everything we do is scary. And I think we're going to surprise ourselves this year. You know, it looked bleak a month ago, but I think we're going to bounce back.
That's a good point. Do you find yourself surprising? Do you get surprised still with what you're able to achieve?
Every day.
You know, that when you said that, I was like, because you guys have a special and dynamic thing going. It's unique. You don't find it everywhere. That's why you'll have national clients. That's why you win Inc. magazine's best places to
work. I am always surprised, Rob. So like I guess I'm a typical creative. I'm a designer by trade, and I'm just riddled with self-doubt. Like it's just part of me. And so I'm always like, we don't deserve this. What is the, why are we?
You absolutely deserve it.
Are we posers? I struggle with that a lot. And Kenny just looks at me like, what are you talking about? Like he's just so on it and self-aware and just, he really helps me, honestly. But yeah, I'm always surprised, and my team surprises me. Our clients surprise us. And I honestly feel like I'm super lucky, I'm like, how did I get involved with these people? And, how am I like some of these people's boss? They should be my boss. But here I am, and I'm trying to make the best of it and trying to be a good steward of what I've been given. And that's a really important philosophy for me too, is just like, do right by the opportunities you have. If you're given an opportunity, don't squander it. Make the best of it and take it seriously, and sometimes that means having really hard conversations. Sometimes that means being hard on people. Sometimes that means doing hard work, but it's you only get this shot. So you got to make the best of it. And so, yeah, I'm surprised, but not surprised too,
right.
If that makes sense.
Good. Great way to end that. That was it.
Yeah. And I do have a shameless plug, if that's okay. So our team, and this is something that our team did without me. Kenny and Tara, our senior strategists, have really headed this up, and Tara has been a boss on it. But
I don't know who wrote that, but
I don't know. I hate this chat. I really wish I didn't look at this chat. No, that's definitely our team chiming in. But no, so we're launching a website called Share Viral Positivity. And so that's been our rally cry through this whole thing, is viral positivity. It's kind of a punny play on the virus. But if you go to shareviralpositivity.com, you'll see the website. And what it is it's the support of healthcare workers. So it's a fundraising website where you can do two things. You can go on and donate money, and we're in partnership with Hiller Moore and with BRAF. And that money is going to be donated to all of the healthcare workers. Or you can actually, and this is what I'm going to ask Dima and Rob to do, as well as anybody who's listening. So please go on here and just write a note to the healthcare workers. If you scroll down, you can write a note of encouragement. And so
it's pretty awesome. Share my
Wow.
Yeah, so this is where you write your note. And so the whole idea of this website is the money and the notes are fully intended to boost the morale of workers. So the way the money is being spent is we might send some meals or maybe some cookies, to Our Lady of the Lake, or we might send some iPads to a hospital so that the people in the rooms can connect with their families because they're in there alone. So it's all about morale and positivity. That's the angle we're taking with this. And what's so cool is we've already had, we haven't even launched this yet. This is the first time it's being publicly discussed at all. And the full launch isn't even happening till next week. But even before launch, we've already raised over $20,000.
Amazing, man. Look at that.
Which is absolutely just mind blowing. And I've got to shout out, Mockler Beverage, Benny's, Braff, all these companies have jumped on board and already donated so much money and so many resources. Benny's donated 750 car washes to Our Lady of the Lake healthcare workers. The American Federation of Labor donated picnic tables to Auctioneers O'Neill campus because they needed picnic tables. Mockler donated gift cards. So it's really cool. And I personally believe, I think we're going to blow past our $50,000 goal. I think we're going to double it. But
I'm so glad you shared this, dude. This is incredible. We didn't know about this. This could have been a whole nother part of the show.
Yeah, I mean, it's dropping next week publicly. But yeah, no, but no, this is the inside scoop right here. This is
sorry, I'm not sorry. It's your fault. I already sent the note.
We want you to go share it. It's this is basically the soft launch is happening right now. It's we're still cleaning up a couple of bugs on the website, but it's pretty much ready to roll. And we're like, people can start using it. It's fully functional.
Look at that.
But yeah, there it is right there. And this is just this is another way of putting something, another tweetable line that I like to say is put your purpose before your personality. So, if you say, well, I'm just not the kind of person who says nice things to people, or I'm not the kind of person who donates, or I'm not the kind of person who does this, that doesn't matter. Put your purpose first. And your purpose right now is to help the people around you. And, and I think for our team, that purpose of just doing more, it's pushing and building community is a huge part of who we are. And by focusing on others and shining the light on others, it's like Bill DePola said this to us. He said, when you shine a light on others, the light reflected shines back on you. Ooh. And I was like, oh, that's super powerful as a concept. Good. But that's kind of what I see this as is giving our team the chance to shine the light on others and to help. It takes you out of yourself, and it takes you out of, like, if you're feeling alone or you're feeling overwhelmed, you almost can't feel alone and overwhelmed when you're helping others, when you're serving. So this is a great way of serving. This was something our team did after hours on their free time, unpaid. So I just have to shout them out.
Dude, I would pay for that. That is some good work, man.
I mean, our team.
Wow, so well designed.
It is beautiful. That is a piece of art.
It's beautiful. And I'll shout out Timothy Ricks, I believe, led the design on this. He's one of our web designers, and he is just a unicorn. He's ridiculous.
Love it.
He can do something like that in such short time and so well. And shout out to Corey for the art direction and everybody else. There's so many people involved. I could name them all: Phil, Kenny, Tara, Ebony. I'm missing people. Someone's going to get offended. I'm sorry, y'all, but there's a lot. But our whole team, everyone jumped in, and it's been, when they unveiled this to me, because I wasn't on this project, I was like, oh my God, like I did not.
Surprise.
How did you do that? Yeah.
Before, right?
Right. So all of that to say, I know I talked a lot about all the things we're doing, but that's kind of where we're at as a company, and it's positive vibes.
3 more hours or a whole day to talk to you, Jeremy.
I love it. I love talking.
In history, breaking records.
Yeah.
Hey, I feel like we're 3 peas in a pod right here. I feel like y'all are our people.
Look, you were saying earlier, I mean, I can't believe I'm here. First of all, just doing this video stuff is insane as it is. But then being with you two and then having the crew of 368 being engaged this whole time, this is all surreal. Like, we just stepped into this and said yes. We didn't say no. We just went forward and did something, and look where it's at. We get to see viral positivity, not just .com, shareviralpositivity.com, but we are sharing this right now live, and that's what this is all about, dude. And I couldn't pick, anymore. It'd be great if we had the whole 368 team on this thing, but
maybe we do. Maybe
don't tempt me.
We can only have 6 people, y'all. Don't stress me out. No.
Okay. We'll do another show, and
we need to do another show, and like we're about to test it out on Monday. Giving thanks, 19 thanks.org. So like. This is what's amazing. Dima, this is what it is all about, right? This is what it was all about. We got to do Red Stick together. There's viral positivity.
Yes.
It's Rashad doing all of what he's doing.
Yes.
This is what it is about, and that's sharing. And look, we're putting spotlight on others, and I get this reflection, and it's not from the ring light in front of me. It's from y'all. It's from this amazing just feeling. And the work that's being done around it. And we got to end it I love you. I got to take a call. I'm sorry. It's
Jeremy,
part 2 coming up, y'all.
you're amazing. Thank you for everything you shared. Oh my goodness. I loved everything you shared, and I love you, my friend. Thank you for coming and joining us.
I love y'all too. Thanks for having me. Let's do it again.
Yes, we will.
Keep the kiddos safe and sane, and tell mama back there that she's doing a great job. And hey, you need to stop too, brother, right? I needed you to tell me stop and stop today. I didn't even hear you till the second time you said it. So I'm going to give it back to you. You need to stop today. Enjoy that beautiful family, because wow, we're all blessed, and I think that's what we're trying to show right now. Thank y'all for tuning in, and thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, man. This was freaking awesome.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Dima. It's awesome. Bye-bye. See y'all.
Bye, everybody. Stay
Bye.
safe. Spread that viral positivity. That is your duty.
All right.